So now that we have done a little intro about why it's important to read the Bible, and we have looked at the Old Testament, now let's focus on the New Testament. Because the New Testament is the real life transformation, right? The New Testament is where many people feel more comfortable, but we can still misread it. The New Testament is not a collection of quotes from Jesus, right? These inspirational quotes from Jesus. It is not. It is or a list of commands detached from grace. It is an announcement that Jesus is King. Jesus is King. That's the whole idea of the New Testament. There's a new king in town, and his name is Jesus. The structure of the New Testament is important, though. We have the gospel. The purpose of the gospel is to show us who Jesus is and what he did. So I need you to read it slowly. Watch Jesus. Listen to his words. That's what the gospel is for us too. For us to delight in the works of Christ. Then we have the book of Acts. The purpose of the book of Acts is to show the Spirit forming the church. Act is descriptive, not a blueprint for every church details. And I think so many people in the church have missed the point on that. The book of Acts is not descriptive. It is descriptive, right? Not a blueprint for everything that we must and must not do in the church. And you know that Delaware Action Church, as a Christian church, our focus is to go back to the book of Acts. So we need to do that with wisdom and discernment, and with that in mind. Part of the structure of the New Testament is letters. And the purpose of the letters is to explain how the gospel shapes everyday life. Everyday life. Always ask the question, what problem is being addressed by this letter? A lot of Christians fail to ask this very important question when reading the letters of Paul or John or Peter. And then the fourth part of his Revelation. And the purpose of Revelation is to encourage faithfulness, not to fuel people or fuel people. I want to say the word fuel, like F-U-E-L, right? Fuel, to fuel someone with fear. It's not about fear. And I think so many people in the church reads Revelation and is fearful about it. This is not about fear. It's about encouragement. It's about encouragement to being faithful, to persevere, and to endure. That's the whole point of Revelation. So, how to read for transformation? So you need to ask some very important questions when you read in the New Testament. What does this teach me about God? What does this say about who I am in Christ? What is one response God is inviting me? And the application is never about doing more. It is about trusting deeper. That's the whole idea of the New Testament, is that we read it with this idea, what must I do? And it's not it. That's not what the New Testament is about. The New Testament is about, how can I trust deeper? How can I go deeper in trusting God? So we went a little bit on the format of the New Testament and what is it about, and some questions that we must ask. So I have some practice for you this week. Read one gospel passage. Maybe Mark 1, maybe Luke 15. That's a good one. Maybe John 1. Let's pick John 1. Sit with it. Sit with Jesus and his word. Do that this week. Just expand this whole week just reading John chapter 1. We read Psalm 23. Now we're going to read John 1. And we're going to apply all this that we have been learning to John 1. Sit with John 1 for this whole week and ask the question, what is God asking me to trust him more this week? What about God I must trust more this week through John chapter 1?